Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How you guys doing? Good. Still got that Marie St. Fleur energy flowing? Good. I am very lucky to have Leo in my district, it should be said, and Kiara, I don't know where she went, but on the, not totally the other end, but sort of in the other direction of the other end of my district at Nursery. So I'm very blessed to have so many talented and committed practitioners, like I know you all are, out there on the front lines in my district, and I'm doing my best to keep you guys in business. So, as lobby days go, you guys are in a pretty good situation. You had Speaker DeLeo here earlier, speaking with great commitment and passion to the issues that you're here to advocate for. You have Representative Haddad here, rightly labeled, the godmother? The godmother of the department. I'm very proud to be here. I bring greetings from our Senate President on the Senate side of the building, who very much regretted that he couldn't be here with you directly, but he asked me as the chair of the Education Committee to be here and represent the values of the Senate. And then I understand later today you're going to be hearing from my counterpart in the House chair of the Education Committee. So you've got a lot of the people that you need on your side here, to be with you and to stand shoulder to shoulder with you. So you've got a lot of momentum and you've got a lot of assets in this fight. And that is in large part because the facts are on your side. When I look around the state, not just in the education space, but certainly in the education policy space, but when I look across the investments that we're making in public infrastructure, the investments that we're making in economic development, it is hard to find a better bet for our tax dollar as a state than the dollars that we put into early education and care. We know from study after study after study, from groups liberal to conservative across the spectrum, that the return on investment we get for dollars that we put into early education and care range from $7 return on $1 investment all the way up to $17 return on $1 investment. And I'm hard-pressed as a legislator to find another program that can give us such a good and clear and proven return on investment. So the facts are on your side. But I want to say this sobering thing to you, which is don't be fooled. Don't be lulled into a sense of complacency by the fact that you've got the big cheeses here talking to you today. You got to stay organized, you got to stay vocal, and you have to pressure us. You got to keep the pressure on us. And I know that I keep calling her Representative St. Fleur. I think once you're a rep for life. But I know the leaders of this coalition, Elaine, Leo, Marie, others, Bill, are not going to let you let up the pressure on us, and I hope that you won't. Yesterday, I was at another event that Congressman Capuano was speaking at. It wasn't to do with early education and care, but he always says things that I like to repeat. He said to this group, I'm going to give you guys the highest compliment that I can give and say that you guys are all a bunch of royal pains in the butt. And that is what I'm going to call on each and every person in this room to continue to be to this legislature. Even though the facts are on your side, it is going to continue to take that constant pressure, because what you are asking for is a fundamental shift in the way that we think about our work of education in this state and in this country. We should never, ever rest, and we should never accept for other people's children what we would not accept for our own children. And I know you don't, as providers, but you need to keep that pressure on us to never accept that for other children, what we wouldn't accept for our own. And it is apparent to me as I look out, across the things we consider public infrastructure, which you are, we would never accept the state of fragility, the state of instability that you work in and day out, and that your children learn in and day out. We would never accept that state of affairs in our police and law enforcement system. We would never accept that state of instability and fragility in our prison system, where we spend, I think the number now updated is $53,000 a year to incarcerate someone, compared to what we're spending every year on kids in our early education and care system. We would never accept this state of instability and fragility in our fire safety systems, and we should not accept it in our early education and care systems. So what you are asking us for is so right, it is so proven, and it is so intuitive to every parent across the state, and now I add myself to that list, who is blessed and fortunate to be able to pay through the nose for high quality early education and care, because we know what it does for our children. Just like people who in the 1700s and the 1800s who were in the elite and had the means to be able to pay for private education for their children did before we had such a thing as universal public education. It was intuitive to those who could pay then. It's intuitive to those who can pay now, and it ought to be something that we do for every single child in the Commonwealth and make it true that all means all. We know we have the best public education system in Massachusetts here of the 50 states in the nation on so many metrics that you can look at. And yet it is the case that, I'm going to look at Nathaniel from my office to make sure I don't get this wrong, 40%, I believe, of our third graders are not reading on grade level in Massachusetts. You know who the solutions to that problem are? The people in this room and the people you represent and parents like me. But neither one of us can do it alone. We as a state rely on you to help us solve that problem, and that is an untenable, unacceptable problem for us. So what you are asking for is so right and so proven, and yet it is a fundamental shift in the way that we think about public education, and that is why you have to continue to be those royal pains in the butt, like Representative Capuano said. So please don't let up the pressure on us. Thank you so much for being here, and be here every day on the phone.